problem is, once you've just played a team like Man United and you win 3-0, it's quite an inconvenience to play these little teams.
No, it's a nightmare, isn't it? But got to play them all, ain't you?
Sorry, welcome to Back of the Net. This is the big match preview. Only joking, Luton. Look, we think it's so good that you're in the Premier League. This is the points deduction derby.
No Everton involved either.
No, that's right. No Everton involved either. Look, this is an interesting game for AFC Bournemouth, I think, because we're all of a fairly similar mindset. We're on a brilliant run, so it would be just like us to slip up against the team that are currently in the relegation zone. But you know what? Them being in the relegation zone, it feels a bit unfair based on their recent performances, mate, because they've been all right.
They have been all right, and I think most people looking at it would go, out of the teams in it, are probably the most likely to get out of it because of their performances. And listen, we had a great week, but they were always going to have a tough week. They had Arsenal and Man City, and they competed with them two a lot better than we did.
Yeah.
So, you know, and Man City won that long ago, and we lost 6-1. So, yeah, and they performed really well in both. They probably could have nicked something in both games as well, 100%. So, yeah, they're competing really, really well. I actually think this is going to be a really, really difficult game. It's a completely different game. Yeah. I always think now, if you do well away from home at Palace and United, then Luton home doesn't mean you're automatically going to do well, because that is a completely different kettle of fish. And some of their, which I'm sure we'll go on to, some of their weapons and things that I think cause us problems are things that I don't think teams like United threatened us with. Yeah. So it's going to be a different game, and we'll have a lot more of the ball and all that good stuff. So let's see how we do. But yeah, it'll be a tough one, mate.
We're two straight guys, right?
Yes, we are.
But can I just put it out there? Rob Edwards is probably...
Oh, he's so good looking.
He's so good looking.
He is gorgeous.
He is pin-up gorgeous.
Yeah, we still...
I mean, him and Steve Cooper are up there, definitely.
I saw a thing saying that Steve Cooper always looks like he's just come out of a headlock. I thought that was really good. That was really good.
But look, this is the big match preview. If you're brand new here, this is Back of the Net. We're an AFC Bournemouth fan channel. If you're a Hatters fan, we're going to have plenty of content over the weekend for you to feast your eyes and ears over. So there's a couple of things you can do, right? Yeah,
make sure you click that like button. That always helps. Click the bell if you want to know when them videos come out. And yeah, if you click the subscribe as well, that'd be much appreciated. Do the fan cams after the game, don't we? That kind of instant reaction. Then we'll have a vlog come out about the old day. Go into more detail in the second look. So Premier League show, which obviously we're both involved in as well. So yeah, loads of good stuff. And then we've got a couple of away day shows that we'll put out as well, which they might be interested in because we'll have them later in the season.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to doing the away day show for Kenilworth Road. Will it be as good as last time? Free beer for him.
Forget we lost that game.
Yeah, we did lose, but we didn't lose the home game. This was the last time we played them.
Oh my God. I think I've just seen miss of my life. Somehow the ball was blazed over from 2 yards out. Oh my God! We fucking got it! Got it! Got him in! Yeah! Unbelievable!
Dominic Solanke!
Come on! 20 goals! Oh my God, own goal. Is that an own goal?
Yeah, so that was in the Championship, of
Important
course.
win, yeah.
And yeah, massive win. And that was on the petrol crisis weekend.
Was it?
Yeah, because our thumbnail with a vlog was what a waste of petrol.
Good.
We won 2-1, but as we say, our last match, not so pretty. Look, we came back to make it 2-2, and then last minute limbs at Kenilworth Road made sure that they got the 3 points. Now, they got promoted last season, albeit via the playoffs. I was so glad they did, because it would have felt an injustice had anyone else got there. I think they were up against Coventry in the final, didn't they? And it was on pens. It was on pens that they won it, but I was so pleased for them. I feel like we're kindred spirits in many ways.
I always want them and Rotherham as well when we talk about points, because I always want them to do well. So the fact that I know Rotherham are struggling a little bit, but the fact that they're in the Championship as well is incredible, really. And yeah, I was really pleased to see them go up personally. I love the away day. It's nice to think, we're not on our own now as this little club that everyone always is disrespectful to, really. I mean, we've just beat Man United, and I think we're now called no disrespect to Bournemouth FC, because that's all I've heard. But yeah, it was really nice, and I was pleased for Rob Edwards, because he was, the fact that their rivals Watford got rid of him at the first chance of doing so, goes to Luton, and they finish miles better than Watford was classic, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we all knew that their start to life in the Premier League would be tough. I think myself and Tom both sort of gave them the benefit of the doubt out of all the promoted sides by saying, look, I think you've got a good chance to stay up. But Tom, they have had a hell of a week. They've had a tough run of late.
They have, and obviously these will be the type of games. I think more so at home. Yeah. But even going to Bournemouth, they'll be thinking, right, can we nick a point here? If they can nick a few points away from home, they'll back themselves at home. Having said that, I think their away record was actually better than their home last season, so they're no mugs on the road. But yeah, it was a really, really tough week for them, and it must be hard for them as a fan base, because everyone will be saying, ourselves included, how good they were in the week, but they've got no points. Yeah. But I felt that in the Arsenal game, it was last gasp stuff, but I felt like Arsenal were the better team, and they gave them a couple of goals with the goalkeeping. Yeah. But against City, I thought they were brilliant. It was a City game, and they went ahead, and I kind of thought they're going to be all right here, and it's just a few moments which can happen against Man City. We all know that. We've had a similar one where we were ahead against, or in a good position against Man City at home. Yeah. They scored last kick, didn't they, Sterling? But they showed in both them games that they've got threats offensively. Scoring the amount of goals they scored in them 2 games was impressive. And they'll be a tough nut to crack, mate. And they've got some good players. I think everyone talks about them being kind of hard working, all that stuff, which is true. But they've got more quality in individuals than I perhaps realised. So yeah, they'll be. I've said this on Premier League shows. Whether they go down or not, they'll be there fighting right to the end. Yeah. They ain't going to get cut adrift or anything like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, so Rob Edwards' first full-time manager's role was at Telford United, his hometown club. After that, it was Forest Green Rovers, wasn't it?
That's it.
He was an FA coach for a bit. But then, as you say, Watford, and then he joined the better side in Luton Town. Is that worth subscribing for? Of course it is. Make sure you do. Now, you mentioned their home form. I think that's a really pertinent point, and this is where the baseline tracker comes into effect there. And this assumes all of your home matches against the non-top 6 are your bankers, and at the moment they are on -3. But there are sides that are worse. Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Burnley as well. Now Everton are down there as well, but that takes into account their points deduction. But really, at home, they have been relatively strong. But we're going to take a look at their results very, very shortly and just see how it's all panned out this season. Because, Tom, it's fair to say it's been difficult for them. They've had some tough matches, and their first game in the Premier League was not particularly easy. It was a rude awakening at the Amex.
It was always a tough place to start the season. And yeah, Brighton, I think they got a few goals later on, but Brighton managed to do what was probably expected. Then they went to Chelsea. You never knew what position Chelsea are in, but that was disappointing for them. Obviously progressed in the Carabao Cup. They were unlucky against West Ham, lose that one at home, and then at Fulham just by small margins. And then the Wolves game, it looks like a decent point, but I think Wolves went down to 10, and you thought they could win that. They went out of the cup to Exeter, and you're thinking that was when you started to think, right, they're not going to be competitive here. They got a big win at Everton. That was a really impressive win.
And you're seeing where Everton are now, and seeing how they're progressing, and that was their sort of start of their upturn in form. That was a big result for them, huge.
Well, you only got to look at, like you say, with the deduction and stuff, but you look at the league table, if they hadn't have won against Everton. The Burnley game was kind of tipped as a big 6-pointer, and Burnley showed a little bit too much quality on the day. Again, the Tottenham one, 1-0 defeat at home, doesn't sound bad, but Tottenham went down 10. So there's a few in there that they would have thought they could have done a little bit better in. But I was impressed with them at Forest.
Yeah, very good.
Good point. They competed well at Villa, to be fair, and not an easy place to go. Impressive draw against Liverpool. They should have won that game.
That was late on as well.
I remember at the time we were not in a great place ourselves, and I remember, sorry Luton fans, but just being so thankful that Liverpool got a late leveller. because Luton could have won that. They were unlucky at United as well. I would say tough place to go, but yeah. Big win against Palace. Big win against Palace. I think that was a really important one for them. And yeah, and as we said, they got the ones recently. They were unlucky at Brentford as well. But there's a few in there that there's not too many where they've, right at the start of the season, yes, but they've been competitive in all the games.
They have, and they're always in games, which makes me think that this game is going to be a tough
one.
Tough nut to crack. And you know what, we're going to have to play differently to be able to get a result against them, because I've got a feeling that they're not going to be throwing the kitchen sink at us. It's not going to be a basketball game, which we'd probably like. There will be a sort of low block to some extent. Can we break them down? That's the question.
First goal is going to be, I know it sounds stupid, but first goal is going to be huge, because I feel like if Luton were to nick the first goal, they're going to be really tough to break down and get a couple against, because they'll have something to hold on to. I think if we can score early like we have done lately, if we can get that first goal and force them to open up a bit, I think we could be in for a good one. So yeah, I think the start of the game is key, as obviously it always is, but you know what I'm trying to say. I think they'll put balls in the box, and we struggled. I think the last goal we conceded was a cross in the box and a header. We've had a few of them, so they'll probably be targeting that. They've got some big boys, and set piece and that going to be a challenge for us. And equally, we've scored some goals from set pieces lately, and you feel like that armory might be taken away because they're a lot better at set pieces. So yeah, be an interesting one, mate, but we need to start fast.
Yeah, and look, you can see by the form table that they are 19th at the moment, so they are going to be worried about coming to AFC Bournemouth. Certainly, we are at opposite ends of that table. Look at us there.
Why do you keep doing last 6? Because if you do last 5, we're top.
Because I don't want us to take things for granted, mate. What we're going to do is just take a look at our head-to-head. And look, it's fair to say that most of our games have been outside the Premier League. Well, we've not played them in the Premier League, of course. But look at, we're only going to go back as far as, 96 here.
What is our record?
And it's not bad, really. When you look at the W's, they certainly outnumber the losses that we've had there. If you want to know our total record, in our home league games against the Hatters, we've won 15, drawn 7, lost 7. In all competitions, we have got the better record, winning 25, losing 22, drawing 17 of them, mate. So it's not too bad. But I'm really interested to see what kind of business they were going to do over the summer, because they're a side that have had to pay for, £10 million on their bobber stand being refurbished. Obviously, you've got the TV gantry on that side. It used to be that sort of row of greenhouses, but now it's been converted into seats, which officially makes it not the smallest ground in the Premier League, mate.
I know.
That award goes to us. But I'm really pleased to see that they did that so quickly, by the way. And how much money would they have to spend on players through the door? I think the signings that they have got have been very astute, actually.
That's what I was going to say. I think when I looked at the business, I thought, oh God, is that going to be enough? But what I will say is, and that's probably a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit silly of me just looking at the fees and stuff, because I think actually some of them, Jacob Brown from Stoke didn't know a lot about, only a couple of £1 million. I've been really impressed with him. And the Camber they had on loan, they got him permanently, he's a good player. The goalkeeper looks good, Kaminsky. And then a couple of steady ones that I think adds that vital experience. So Tim Krul's not playing, but he'll be good in the squad as a backup goalkeeper. They bring in Ross Barkley and Andros Townsend, former England internationals. They'll be good in and around the place, I feel.
He was brilliant, by the way, in their last game, Ross Barkley.
He was very good, and he's a good footballer. He scored against us in the past a few times for Everton, so I have to keep an eye on him. But even like some of the loans, Sammy Lokonga isn't playing yet, but he's got a bit of quality. Kabore, I didn't even realise was on loan from Man City, but that's why he didn't play in the last game. He looks good. And yeah, there's just a few, like you said, mate, it's the perfect way of describing it, I think, astute. Even Chong, I've liked the look of when I've seen him a few times. So yeah, some players in there that didn't sound glamorous, but I think they've added to them. So yeah, that was really important for them. And obviously keeping hold of their players was really key as well. And they kept hold of most of the, if not all of the kind of key men for them going forward.
There's some good Premier League experience there when you look at it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Tim Krul, Andros Townsend, So right, okay. So departures then.
Yeah.
Most of them, I don't think left for any fees today. It was just a couple of freebies, but they kept hold of the ones they wanted. Yeah,
it was all kind of players going out on loan, youngsters going out on loan, and I think Solly Bradley left for a free and stuff. So there was none of the kind of mainstay and the players that they wanted to take that journey with, and why would they move kind of thing. And with respect, they probably didn't have anyone that was kind of top level that you think, oh God, are they going to better keep? They had just a really good tight-knit squad, probably similar to ourselves when we first come up. we come up, but we knew we weren't really going to lose anyone when we first come up back in 2015 because, you know, it was kind of players that went under the radar a little bit. So they've done well to keep hold of virtually all their main players and added some, as you say, astute signings.
Okay, in terms of AFC Bournemouth team news, well, Andoni Iraola had his presser earlier today. Pleased to say that there's nothing really new going on. I mean, it's good to see that we had an update on Max Aarons in his last presser, which is good. He is getting closer, and obviously all the rest of them will be as well. Alex Scott, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm taking like kind of too much into it, you know, when you just read everything into it, but when Bill Foley's obviously had some interviews lately, and when he was talking about kind of got those players out injured, when he mentioned, he went obviously Adams, blah, blah, but when he mentioned like Scott, he went he's close. Yeah. He kept saying he's close, and I just wonder if we're looking at that break coming up as well. Get rid of that Christmas period, then I think we could have him back, which would be massive. But yeah, nothing new and alarming at the moment, which is positive.
Luton have been missing Corley Woodrow, Dan Potts, Reece Burke, and also Mads Anderson as well through injuries. Nakamba suspended.
I think that's quite big, actually.
It is big.
He's not their like best player or anything, but I think he's that nasty midfielder that can break play up really well, and I think they'll miss him. So I was quite pleased to see him get that extra yellow. I think in terms of that, we've just got to keep an eye on Marco Senesi because we're getting to that point now, aren't we? Where there's a lot on.
He's on 4, isn't he?
Yeah, there's a lot on 4 at different clubs, and for us. It's Marco Senesi, so just need to make sure he can get through this little period. I don't think he will. I think there's a lot of games, and Marco Senesi likes to tackle. But we've got some options there. Kelly won't be too far away, hopefully, and obviously we've got Chris Mepham. But yeah, hopefully he can get through this one for us, mate.
So, from a Hatter's perspective, we want to find out what their fans say. So, we spoke to Luton fan and podcaster Dave Gregory to get the lowdown. Yeah, hi Dave. How you doing?
Really well, thank you very much. Having a great time. Looking forward to seeing the game on Saturday.
So the When the Town podcast is international today because you're in Sydney at the moment. Did those Arsenal and Man City games kill you off that much that you needed to go to the other side of the earth?
Well, no, I was inspired by those 2 games. I thought we did all right. I tell you now, it's really hot in Sydney. But, I think we did all right. We held our own. What did we expect out of Arsenal and Manchester City? Nothing. That's what we got. But what we got out of those games was 2, for me, pretty good performances. Arsenal probably the one that we were really gutted that we didn't get anything from because of the nature of their last-minute goal. The home game against Manchester City, everybody's thinking, how many are we going to lose by? Well, we lost by 1. Yeah, we lost by 1. And genuinely, that was like 5 minutes where they got those 2 goals. But up to that point, I don't really remember our goalkeeper having to make any big saves. I mean, he made a couple. So we held our own. Disappointed. How can I say that? We're disappointed we didn't get points from Arsenal, who were top of the league, and Manchester City, who are the European champions, and we come away with nothing. Had we been at their place, I think the result would have been different. But we played, and we made some opportunities. So it's inspiring, and then you look at the calendar and you see who's coming up next, and you just think, well, we need to take some points from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you've been a lot better than your position this season. You must be proud of how things have transpired this season for Luton, despite the fact you're in the relegation zone.
Look, I think I've said this all season. We're riding on this wave of the Premier League. We weren't expected to be in it. We're in it. We're in it on merit. And those people that wrote us off probably haven't watched Luton. They wrote us off for the wrong reasons. They wrote us off because of the stadium, because it's, that sort of thing. We haven't spent any money. But when you come and watch the team and you watch how we've been playing, if you walked away from there going, well, Luton are rubbish, then I don't know what's wrong with you. I think we've been in every single game this season, apart from one where I thought we could have been demolished by Aston Villa. But I think we've been close. We've been losing by the odd goal. We've been losing by the last-minute goal. We've had some decisions go against it. So I'm loving watching Luton at the moment. I'm loving it. And I love the way that the fans are with the team and the management's with the team and the board are with the team. We're just one big, happy family at the moment. And if we get relegated, that won't change. That won't change. So I feel that football's been good. And we're sort of that close to having a really couple of good results. That's how I feel, and no disrespect. A few weeks ago, I said Bournemouth was winnable. I would have said, go to Bournemouth. This is one we've targeted. This is where we've got to get points from. Your form has changed a little bit, hasn't it? So, as always, when I come up to Bournemouth, when we come and watch Bournemouth at your place, it's always a tough game for us, always. You know, there's never been that big walkover, is there? Maybe the other way around for you guys, but it's always been a tough game. And so, and then after that, Newcastle at home, which a few weeks ago I'd been dreading, but now I'm not. And then Sheffield United away. So there are 3 games there that we really need to get something from. And if we get 6 or 7 out of that, it'll be a miracle, but that's what we've got to hope for, because otherwise it's not happening for us, is it?
Yeah. So Rob Edwards, talk to me about him. I mean, we're chuffed that he's doing so well at Luton after getting sacked by Watford. I think that's just beautiful and poetic. But what are fans feeling about him? I mean, he's not in any trouble, is he?
Not a chance he'll be in any trouble whatsoever. Rob, firstly, if you meet Rob in person, he's such a nice guy. He's got time for everyone. So, and I think that shows with his post-match as well. He's never derogatory about the other teams or anything. He just looks forward to how we are playing and how we can improve. And if you saw his post-match against Arsenal, you could see how gutted he was about the result. He's the Watford connection makes it even better for me. You know, he comes to our team after being sacked by Watford, then he gets us promoted. Fantastic. He's just backed by everyone, so I can't see any issues with him whatsoever. It's hard not to like him. Tactically, I think he's got it. I think he's got a good team around him, and tactically, I think they know how to play against whatever team they're setting up against. So I don't think we've been too far out of anything. So Rob Edwards, for me, is with us for as long as, I mean, if he keeps us up, it's a miracle, and you know, he'll get freedom of the town for that, for definite. But if he gets really good with us, then he won't be with us for much longer. That's how I look at it. Because someone will come and take him. Well, yeah, someone will take him, and I think he's got great things ahead. Someone will take a chance on him, and how can you stop him from having that chance? But I'm hopeful that it won't be for a few years, and he stays with us and builds our team. And then if we become a permanent member of the Premier League for a little bit longer, then you know he plies his trade there and then takes his chance when it comes. But for me, he's one of the better managers we've had for a long time, and long may it continue.
Yeah, so it's the I don't know if you could call it this, the points deduction derby this weekend. Then I mean, we've both been in dark places, but now you're in the Premier League. Explain how you feel week in, week out when seeing some of the media takes on Luton. I mean, I think Garth Crooks has been one of them that has surely been on the changing room walls at Kenilworth Road. Surely.
You'd like to think so. I think the disregard that we had instantly when we came up was, I think, almost unprecedented. I think it's definitely down to the stadium, really, and you know the show. It doesn't look too shabby these days, but you know it's the stadium. It's walking through the houses, and they based everything on the wrong thing. Oh, we only scraped up. Well, we finished third in the championship, and we won the playoff final. And we didn't finish third by 1 point. We were way above fourth place. Everybody, no one fancied. But then the championship was rubbish because Luton got promoted. That's how they looked at it. In the Premier League, the vitriol we got from the media, Garth Crooks in particular, he's still at it. By the way, if you haven't read anything recently, he's still at it. I don't think he's got any real proper thoughts on football myself, to be fair. As a pundit, I have no respect for him. But it's not just him. Sky started Match of the Day were on it. And everybody's saying the same. They weren't good, they were rubbish. But now that has changed a bit because they could see that we're playing better football. But every week, I mean, I have a guy that's learning stuff with me. He's an Arsenal supporter, and he just said, "Oh, Luton are rubbish." And I said, "What do you base that on?" And the first thing he says is the ground. So for me personally, I try and look past it, and I might just tag a few things in X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, just to go back to them and say, "See, told you we're better than that." But if you look at Luton and look what we've achieved, you talk about the points deduction. You were minus 17. The same season we were minus 30. Look where you finished. Look how you deal with that. It took us a while for us to get where we are. So as fans, we're just going to enjoy every single moment of this. And I don't care what other fans think, really. you can say what you want about Luton Town, but they're always the underdogs and they never give up. And for me, where we are now, we just got to embrace it. And if other fans can't embrace our story and give us credit for how we play and what we do, then sod them.
No, I completely agree. So, all right, who are the 3 teams that you think you can finish above this season?
Oh, that's a big question, because if you'd have asked me that a few weeks ago, I would have said you guys.
Yeah.
We would be aiming to be above you guys. But, well, clearly, Sheffield United and Burnley are the 2 that we've got to finish in front of.
Yeah.
They're the first 2. And then you've got to look up the table and look at form at the moment. So you'd be looking towards possibly Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. I was always hoping there'd be a third one that gets dragged down into the mire, but at the moment it's not looking like that. There was a moment where I didn't think Brentford were playing very well for a start, and I thought, well, they might be dropping like the proverbial stone. So I just got to hope that the other teams drop points, and we make a bit more of a go at it, really, and start winning at home at the very least. And if that happens, then I think we could. Generally, I wrote a piece. I don't know if you've been involved, but I wrote a piece for the Guardian the other day, and I said, generally, where do you think you'll finish? So I want to be as honest as I can, but I still think we can finish that one place out of the bottom 3. I really, really do. And I think the way that we've been playing would suggest that actually we've got something in us to get some points from somewhere. But the home form, we just need to win more at home. And, we haven't done that enough.
Yeah, well, as Bournemouth fans, I mean, we certainly hope that Luton can stay up this season. Because we really love a trip to Kenilworth Road. All right then, Dave, what's your prediction? I'll allow you a head and a heart one if you want.
Okay then. Right, let's go with the heart one first. I'd like us to win. I don't care how many goals it's by. If it's 1 or 2, if Adebayo's in form and if Benny and Barkley are in form, then we're going to give you a good game. So. In my head, in my heart, I'm going to say I'll take a 1-0 away win. I'll take a 2-0 away win. Anything to 0 would be great because we haven't had a clean sheet this season. So that would be brilliant. But my heart's saying, look at Bournemouth's recent form. I'd rather have played you 5-6 weeks ago. Look at your form at the moment. It's really good. And you've had that fantastic win at Old Trafford. You've had some brilliant football I've been watching, and I'm worried that you might edge it. So it's always a tough game. So heart says, please let's win 2-0. Head says, we're probably not going to take the points. But I just don't want to say it. You know what I want to say, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we might lose. And if we lose, I think it'll be very narrow. Fingers crossed.
That's fair.
Do you know what? I'd take a draw. So head says possibly 1-0 or 1-0, but heart says, please can we win 2-0, please? Come on, you've had enough points the last few weeks.
Yeah, love that. Dave, thank you for coming on. Dave, check out Oh When the Town podcast. It's at Oh When the Town on Twitter or X. Dave, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, and enjoy the game.
Yeah, brilliant to speak to Dave there. Check all of the links there in the description. I suppose you want to know the referee, Tom.
No, couldn't care less.
Simon Hooper.
Okay.
Had us once last season.
Okay.
Away at Chelsea.
Yeah, there was no massive decisions.
No, there wasn't.
We're not having this season.
No, we're not having this season.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully we'll be Cocker Hooper come full time.
Awful.
Should we just do the teams?
Yeah, do it. That's one of your worst, that.
Right, let's do the teams then. We've got some predictions. So Luton fans will be doing yours as well. We're going to kick off with AFC Bournemouth, and it looks like an unfamiliar. Oh no, it's 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I can't imagine too much changes, mate. Obviously with the news and also with the form we've had. I'm going to stick, because I keep saying it. I'm going to stick with something that I keep saying and keep getting wrong. But I'm going to go with Neto in goal.
Okay.
Off the back of 2 clean sheets, and I don't know if El Marino will want another one. Back 4, Smith, Zabani, Senesi and Kirkes. Yeah. Obviously that incredible double pivot of Lewis Cook and Ryan Christie. I think Marcus Tavernier will play on the right-hand side. I'm bringing in Philip Billing. I was surprised he didn't start either game in the week. And Kluivert is great. I'm just looking at the games, and obviously Kluivert has been so crucial in that transition. I just wonder, because they'll be a bit lower block, maybe have someone that can get on the ball a little bit more physicality and stature in that midfield. So I'm going to put Billing in for Kluivert. He hasn't named an unchanged side yet, so I'm not expecting them to change that. Semenyo, I think, will keep his place over Sinisterra, and obviously Dom Solanke leading the line.
Okay, and as for Luton then, looks like there's a 5-4-1 formation you got there.
Yeah, I've put it in that. I mean, Luton fans might call it a kind of a 3. You know when it's a 5 or a 3, it depends. There's kind of wing back. So done it like that, really. Kaminsky will be in goal. I expect Kabore to come back in. He was obviously ineligible against the parent club Man City, but I expect him to come in on that right side. Mengiu looks good, will be in the defence with Lockyer, and I think Amari Bell will play there. And then Doherty will go back to the left-hand side. I think he played on the right in the last game. Then Benny, I think, will come back in. Not sure. I'm pretty sure he's back available, so I think he'll come back in over Townsend. He's got a lot of pace, and Panzo, I think, will come in for Nakamba. I think they will replace each other quite comfortably. Ross Barkley's been really good for him, so he'll stay in. Jacob Brown, who I've been impressed with off that left, and I think they'll probably stick with Adebayo over Morris up top, just because of that physicality. I remember seeing him in that Luton game in the Championship, and I remember thinking at the time, I think it was just before we got Kiefer Moore, and I remember thinking, God, I wouldn't mind Adebayo, because he is just a big guy, and he's really good as that lone striker. Scored a header against Man City, he'll be a threat, so I think he'll lead the line for him, mate. But a lot of pace out wide, a lot of physicality from set pieces as well, so it'll be a tough one.
Right, I'm going to ask Tom for his prediction very, very shortly. Everyone's in a confident frame of mind at the moment. Are you? Because that's what I want to know. Let us know in the comments below. What is your score prediction? Chris Hubble, what are you going for? 4-0? Liam, 3-0? Let us know. Tom, what are you going for?
Well, I think everyone's waiting for this part because obviously I said Villa would be a draw. I actually said 2-2 draw, funnily enough. And then I said, before that I did say that we'd beat Sheffield United as well. Yeah. And then I said we would probably go and beat Palace and Man United. Not many people called the Man United win and 3 goals, but I did. So you'll be pleased to know I'm going to go for another win. But I don't think it will be, I think a lot of people, because of the week, will be going comfortable win. I don't think it'll be a comfortable win at all. I'm going to go 1-0 to Bournemouth. I think there'll be a tough nut to crack. I'm hoping that we keep the door closed and we just about have enough to just squeeze that door open and nick a goal. So I'm going to go for the 1-0 Dominic Solanke. But yeah, I think it'll be a tight one. I don't think it will be as scintillating as we've seen of late. I think it'll just be important to try and get them 3 points. That's all I'm worried about. We've had some brilliant performances. I'm kind of like, I know what I get from this team now. Let's just bloody win this game because this is a big one. And let's not let them gain any ground on us. So I'm going to go 1-0, mate. What about you?
I think there's going to be a goal either side of half time. Okay. It's going to be 2-0, not 2-1. Yeah, 2-0. I think Bournemouth are going to win 2-0. It's going to be
El Marino with
El Marino going to go bankrupt. It's going to be good conditions. No rain. It's going to be a little bit overcast, which means we want you on the fan cams. New faces, always welcome. You know where we are, just outside the Cherry Orchard / press entrance.
Are we This would be interesting. Someone will probably let us know. I'm not going to make you try and find it now. Be interested to know after our predictions. What's the most in the Premier League clean sheets we've had back to back? Because 3's got to be up there.
Yeah.
If we can get 3 back to back clean sheets in the Premier League, that's got to be up there. That'll be interesting. But yeah, as you say, mate, join us on the old fan cams. Hopefully we'll all be in good spirits because there's a couple of good ones on the road. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, mate. Really looking forward. Might have a few drinks afterwards as well to celebrate. What a week it's been.
I think for their fans, they're going to be feeling it. They're going to be feeling the pressure a little bit and almost looking at this as a
game they need to get something.
Well, they have to get something. I wouldn't say must win, but they, after the last 2 games that they've had and been so unlucky with it as well, they'll be looking at this thinking, would be nice to squeeze something out of Bournemouth. But anyway, looking forward to seeing you all there. If you haven't done it already, we gave you a nudge at the start of the show and in the middle, but please click subscribe. And then when you do so, there's a little bell that comes activated. And then what we'll do is we'll ping you a notification anytime we put a video up. So that includes the vlog, your second look, the fan cams, the Premier League show, and then a couple of our away day reviews that come out next week. And where will Kenilworth Road score against Selhurst Park and Old Trafford? We will find out. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.
Come
Cherries.
on.
Come on.
That was Cherries.
You had...
It's got 1-0 Luton. It absolutely reeks of 1-0 Luton.